Yo, y'all see Ed, man? I seen Ed with two nice ones, and he was driving a brand new Camaro. Ed done came up on that bag, man. Yeah, I figured it was something because he was flashing money, and he was running around talking about they printed every day. Money ain't nothing to him. Bro, I just seen Ed on Broadway. He wasn't driving no Camaro no more. Matter of fact, he asked me for a ride. You see the news? Ed, Mr. Keep It Misdemeanor. This fool done robbed like 12, 13 liquor stores and gas stations, man. He's all over the news. It's over for him, bro. It's a sad situation, man. Ed done ran through all that money that he had, and he just got on local news and confessed to all of those robberies. Bro, he ain't never coming home again. It's a wrap. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Yo, once again it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV, in the house like motherfucking kitchen sinks. You know, I was sitting back earlier this morning and I was going through some of my older videos. From time to time, I'll tell a story that I've already told before, being that initially when I told those stories, I wasn't really getting many views, not as many views as I'm getting now. And so I ran across a story of a guy that I've known since childhood. Now, we were never really like close, but we know each other. We speak and we see each other. Hey, how you doing? You know, keep it moving. His name is Ed. And that's actually what they call him on the streets. Now, I'm not going to divulge, if you will, his full street name. But if you're from Lexington, 9 times out of 10, you probably know who I'm speaking of. Now, before I get into today's story, I am the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that any story that I tell is guaranteed to be at least 30 minutes or longer. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, don't feel like being there, boss is getting on your nerves, co-workers is getting on your nerves, it's hot. You're on your way home from work, perhaps you're trying to take a nap, trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time, you know, you're listening to this story. You need to cry sometimes. You need to smile sometimes. You need to laugh. Or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned penitentiary true story. And this is the channel for you. So with all that being said, there is a message. As I mentioned, Ed was the individual that I grew up with. Now, I was older than Ed, but I would often see him in passing. Ed was one of those individuals. Let me describe Ed to you so you can get a better understanding and I can paint a picture in your mind. Rock with me. Ed was about 5'9". I know a lot of you thought that I was going to say Ed was 5'10", or I'm sorry, 5'11". Ed was about 5'9", maybe 5'10". Dark-skinned brother, always wore dreads, and he was just physically gifted. When I say physically gifted, meaning, he had great genes, pause. Ed was he was cut up. And so when he was out there running the streets, he would lose his size. But when he go to the county jail, 30 days, 45 days, he's a monster again. So all he does is push-ups, 1,200, 1,500 push-ups a day. But we'll get into him being in the county jail. Ed was a guy, he had a way with the ladies. The ladies love Ed. So much so to where Ed was literally a pimp. Yes, he was a pimp. He had 2 or 3 different females on the stroll. Now, it's not like they were dimes or anything. It's not like they were, models or anything like that. But at the same time, he kept on working. They brought that money back to Ed. Ed had a nickname, Keep It Misdemeanor. And that's what people would call him from time to time. Some people would call him Ed. Some people would call him, hey, keep it misdemeanor. You know, it was a joke, but it was a serious thing. Now, when I say keep it misdemeanor, meaning that the crimes that he would commit just to support his drug addiction, yes, Ed had a drug addiction. He would make sure that, worst case scenario, it was just a misdemeanor. And so if he went into the store to steal something, he's going to make sure that it didn't go over $300. Now it's $500, but at this time, I believe it was $300. Anything under $300, if you steal it, it's a misdemeanor. Ed would send his women into stores. They go into Kroger, which is the main grocery store that they use here in Lexington. Go into Kroger's and steal, steaks and chicken and things like that could be sold relatively easy. And so that was just a way that Ed actually hustled. I never really knew Ed to have a job. I just always knew Ed to be in them streets. I'm not sure exactly what the situation was, but Ed came across a large sum of money. And when I say a large sum of money, it was well over $100,000. I can't quite recall if it was a lawsuit or if it was an inheritance. I want to say it was an inheritance. But whatever the case may be, Ed had $170,000, $180,000. And he was anticipating that money until it finally came. And when that money came, it was a party. I'm talking about it was a party that lasted about 6 months. As I mentioned, Ed liked to get high. Crack cocaine, that was his drug of choice. Cocaine, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Man. Rick James famously said that a long time ago. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. So I've been told. Me, myself, I don't indulge. I don't smoke weed. I've never used drugs. I've never popped a pill. But I'm no better than anyone else. It was just my preference not to do those things. So Ed, every night was a party. He had the money. He would get 2 females that like to do the same thing. They like to indulge. Get a hotel room. He would buy the drugs. And they would just post up every single night. He's spending thousands of dollars every day. Think about it. He has to support his habit, and 2 other individuals. Then he's buying food. He's buying things that they need, female products and things of that nature, things that he needs. But it's a party. All of this money that he had, I guess he felt as though this money will never run out. Ed continues to do it a month. Then 2 months goes past. Then 3 months goes past. Ed starts to see his money dwindling. Nobody's really seeing Ed. He's not really coming around his family. I'm not even sure if Ed had kids. I don't even think Ed had any kids. He's living it up. 4th month came. 5th month came. Now the money is really, really, dwindled all the way down as one could imagine. So whoever his supplier was, oh man, he loved to, he kept Ed. He probably posted up right beside Ed. Probably got a hotel room right beside him. Hey, anytime you need me, I'm right here, bro. All the money that Ed was spending, and I'm being dead serious. We got to the point after 6 months. Guess what? You all put in the comment section for me. Hit that like button for me if you don't mind. And put in the comment section what you're thinking that I'm going to say next. 6 months later, 170, 180,000, whatever the amount was. What do you think I'm going to say next? Voila, money's gone. All the money that Ed had is gone. He goes to his dealer. Dealer's not trying to throw him anything. You don't got no more money. All the money that Ed spent with this guy, and now he can't get a crumb from him. Ed puts his women back to work. They get to doing what they do best. Now, I'm sure that they have things that they do that's better than, selling their bodies. So I'm just figuratively speaking, if you will. So the money's coming in, but it's slow money. $40, $50 here, $20 there. Some days it's slow. So that's a far cry from spending a couple $1,000s every day. Ed can't deal with this. See, the thing about it is this, and this happened to me at a young age. At 22 years old, I had $80,000 under my mattress. When you're used to a certain lifestyle, when you're used to, pretty much being able to get what you want to get whenever you want to get it, within reason. Ain't like Ed could have went out and bought a yacht or anything. But you know what I mean, the basics, whatever. If he wanted to order some food, if he wanted to go shopping, if he wanted to get as high as he could possibly get, whatever, he was able to do those things. Now all of a sudden, that's gone. So I definitely know that feeling. And for myself, that's when I turned to crime. I didn't get in trouble as a juvenile. I didn't get in trouble as a teenager coming up. It wasn't until I had a large sum of money and I was not able to sustain that amount of money, that's when I turned to crime. But nevertheless, Ed said, nah, I can't deal with this, man. I believe something had happened. One of his women went to jail. Then the other one, I guess she got mad at him. So he didn't even have the 2 women that he had anymore. So now Ed has to pretty much fend for himself. Where am I going to get this money? How am I going to support my high? I got to be able to support my high. Ed got with another individual. They decided they was going to go hit a lick. The other individual, he had a gun. Ed never really carried a gun. They decided, you know what? I know this little store, man. We can go in there, it's easy lick. We can probably come up on, $400 or $500. That'll allow us to, they put a plan together that will allow us to go and cop whatever we want to cop, which means buy. So say you go to your dealer and you say, man, I got $400, man. Give me some room. Basically, it means give me some room to make some money. Throw me something. I'm bringing you $400. I've been coming to you. So if I'm spending $400 with you, give me a little bit extra so I can make some money. So the plan was be able to support their drug habit and then sell some of it just as well to make some money, then go back to the dealer again with more money and continuously go like that until they built the money back up. Well, we all know in life, a lot of times plans don't, things don't go according as planned. They would get that money and that $400 will be gone in a couple hours. Guess what? We need to get high. We need some more money. So they found another place to rob. So now it's 2 robberies. And they really haven't gotten much money. You go in those gas stations, you don't really get that much money. But a lot of people are not really concerned with the amount. Sure, you want more, but as long as you can get enough to support that drug habit, that's all you're really thinking about at the time. So some time goes past, some weeks goes past, or what have you. And, I guess they're supporting their habit anyway that they're able to support their habit. They get together once again, a 3rd store, a 4th store, a 5th store, a 6th store. Now these guys are considered serial robbers, armed and dangerous. Well, the one individual that was with Ed, he didn't really like to wear a mask. Ed's telling him, no, man, you got to wear your mask, man. We can't just, this ain't television. Can't just go in here without a mask, man. They gonna get you. We not trying to get caught. We trying to, go do what we do. So the individual, he ends up doing some things on his own, separate from Ed. I guess he gets with somebody else. They go do some separate robberies. A couple more weeks goes past. They end up getting back together. 7 stores, 8 stores, 9 stores, 10 stores. Now it's all over the news. Got these individuals just running around the city, just robbing stores, gas stations, liquor stores. Police never know exactly who they are. If you know these gentlemen, call 911. There will be a cash reward. Nobody knew who it was because they were very well hidden. They go on, I don't even want to say the name of the street, but they hit a liquor store one particular night. They go into the liquor store. There's a lady in there. And to my knowledge, she was the only one in there. They hit a nice little lick. It wasn't a $300-$400 lick. They came out of there with, $800,000-$900,000, somewhere $1,200, somewhere right around in that range. So they're happy. It was so easy. They went in, get that money out. She obliged or what have you, complied. Here you go. Not necessarily obliged. She wasn't happy to do it. But she complied and gave them the money and they ran out. Wow. It was so easy. They go and do what they do once again. Next day, a couple days later, they're out of money again. They're getting tired of hitting these little small licks, $300 and $400, and then they're running out of places to hit. Sure, there's gas stations everywhere, but there were certain gas stations that they would, kind of target, pinpoint. Man, that was an easy lick we hit at that liquor store, man. You want to go back? I don't know, bro. I mean, we just hit them up, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, exactly. But they wouldn't even be expecting us. All right, let's go. Let's get it. They slide in another night. Same scenario. Go in. She gets the money out. This time there's another individual in the store with her. He's not offering any sort of resistance. They go in. Same system. One got the gun pointed at the people. The other one, goes to the register. Gets the money out of the register, what have you. Boom, they gone. They laughing and joking. It's a game. It's fun to them. Think about Ed. He knew that this had to stop at some point. See, Ed didn't even have a criminal record, as I mentioned. Yeah, he had a whole bunch of misdemeanors. He would get caught up and maybe get put on probation or something like that and have to go spend 90 days in the county, 60 days, something like that. He'd go in there and get his weight back, get his health up. Correctional officers loved him. The female correctional officers, they loved him. I seen one time in our county jail, like where the visitations is at, you actually go to the cell. You don't go to the cell literally. There's a hallway. And you go up to, it's through the glass. So visitations through the glass means, you're actually talking to a person through the glass. You pick up the phone. Hey, how you doing? So when you walk up to the visitation booth, you can actually, from the outside, see into the cell, if that makes any sense. You can see into the cell, and the cells are huge. And I remember one time, Ed was, he was working out. He was doing his push-ups. And one of the ladies on visitation was like, ooh, who is that guy down there? He's like, oh, yes, my dude Ed or whatever. Well, give him my phone number, man. He's cute. That's what the young lady was saying. So he had that type of, the women, they liked Ed. And so Ed knew, like, we have to find another hustle. I'm going to have to break free from this other individual because I'm not trying to end up in the penitentiary. I'm Mr. Keep it misdemeanor. All this time in my life, 30-something years, it's worked for me. A few nights later, I say about maybe about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, same scenario. Broke, fiending, high. They trying to figure out where they gonna get this money at. Could hit that liquor store again. Damn. We done already hit him twice. They definitely ain't gonna be expecting us to come back a third time. Yeah, I know, bro, but that's really, really risky, man. To go into the same establishment that we've already hit on 2 occasions within a month. So they go back and forth and they decide, you know what? It's worth it. They slide inside the liquor store. They slide inside of the liquor store. This time, Ed got the gun. For whatever reason, Ed has the gun. I don't know exactly why he had it, because typically the other individual would have the gun. They go inside. Ed ain't been asleep in about 3 or 4 days. He may have taken a little cat nap here and there, 15, 20 minutes, but they've been out chasing, getting high, just living it, not necessarily living it up, but just doing what they do for the last 3 or 4 days. So he's really, really exhausted, to be honest. They go inside. There's 2 people inside the store again. Amazingly, the inside was not locked. They left the door open. They go inside. Same scenario. Don't move. Dude is running through the, I believe the reason that they switched places as far as Ed having a gun, because the other dude, he was a tall individual. He was like 6'3". They had cigarettes, but they was kind of high up on like a shelf. Cartons of cigarettes is huge. If you can get cartons of cigarettes, oh man, they're very, very easy to move. So not only did they want the money, they wanted the cigarettes. So the dude, like I said, having the height, he's grabbing all the cigarettes while Ed's on the register. Ed's on the register. He has the gun. He tells both parties to kind of move over to the side to where you can keep an eye on both of them. For whatever reason, I do not know. And I wanted to ask him when I seen him, to be honest. I mean, because he told me the story, but I just, it didn't really dawn upon me at that time. And then when it did, I didn't really want to ask. But now, for whatever reason, Ed lays the gun down on the counter. In the middle of a robbery, a 211, he lays the gun down on the counter because he's trying to get like all the money. So I guess he felt as though he needed both hands. Pause. He lays the gun down. Now, they were nowhere near the gun, so he's thinking, okay, you know, the gun is still within my reach, so, you know, they move or whatever, I'll just grab it. The lady, she was about 5'8", 5'9". I'll say about 5'8". She's weighing in at probably, not really too good at weight, but maybe 180, 190 herself. She's sick of it. This is the third time you all done robbed my establishment. And this particular night, it's not going down like that. And if it does, I'm not going out without a fight. She sees her opportunity. She sees the gun on the counter. Now, she knows that she can't get to the gun. But I guess she notices that Ed is kind of out of it. He's not all the way focused. She grabs Ed. When she grabs him, they get to tussling. He has a hoodie on. He has the hood covering his, he has a mask, but he has a hoodie on. It was the wintertime, and, it was kind of, the hoodie. Has the hood part on. She's grabbing him. She's kind of tussling, throwing him around or whatever. So then the dude runs over. He jumps in and he grabs Ed. Now, all this is going on so fast to where by the time the other individual that was with Ed could run over and try to help, she done grabbed the gun off the counter. Freeze, motherfucker! Freeze! The other dude says, oh, hell no. He's gone. Stop! He keeps going. Bow! She shoots. She shoots him. She catches him in the shoulder. He runs on out the door. He's out of there. She wants to chase after him, but now she still has to worry about Ed over here, so she focuses on him. Don't move! Don't move! Ed's trying to explain, please, man, please. Call the police. She's telling the other dude, call the police, call the cops. Please, man, please don't. There's a reason why we came in here. He made up some story about his mother being sick and they needed the money and that's the only reason, or she was going to pass away. She wasn't trying to hear that. She wasn't trying to hear that whatsoever. He thinks about running. He's thinking to himself, shoot, she's going to have to shoot me. Does she have the guts to shoot me? Does she have the heart to shoot me? I just seen her shoot my partner. What makes me think that she won't do me like that? Listen, ma'am, I'm going to just go on, get out of your store. I'm not trying to go to jail. I promise you. We'll bring your money back. We're never going to come in here again. I'm gone. Tries to play the Jedi mind trick on him. She just looked at him with the gun pointed at him and said, young man, what you do? It's your own business. Essentially, she was saying, you choose to take off, you're going to catch a hot one. You're going to catch a hot one in that ass. Pause. Double pause. Edge torn. Do I risk getting shot in my back? I see that the woman's not playing. I could always back my way out of the store. At least if she shoots me, she won't shoot me in the back. But if I don't make a move real quick, police is coming. When the police get here, it's over. They're going to put 2 and 2 together and tie me into all of these robberies, and I'm never seeing the streets ever again in life. I guess Ed felt as though she was not playing, and he just stayed there with his hands up. Police gets there quick. It don't take very long. I'm assuming they were probably already in, because this particular area, they're in that area anyway. So they come in, they grab Ed, arrest him, take him to the station or whatever, book him. Now everybody's like, oh man, you hear about Ed, man? It's all on the news. It had been on the news anyway. He's a serial robber. So they made the arrest, and the next day it was on the news, and now they have a suspect. Now they have him for robbing that store, clearly. But they have a suspect in the other robberies. They end up charging Ed with all 12 robberies. They figure out who the other individual is. Ed never said anything, to my knowledge. Nobody ever accused Ed of being a rat. But they figure out who the other individual is, but then the problems get much worse. Remember when I said that the other individual had went and did his thing that didn't include Ed? That same gun that they captured, that the lady had, the clerk, it was used in a shooting at another robbery. So now, the shooting that occurred, the person didn't make it. So now they're trying to pin a murder on Ed just as well. And Ed's like, whoa. No. I don't know nothing about no shooting. I don't know nothing about any of this. This is the store that I attempted to rob, and that's it. The problem is, your description matches, your physical features matches the other robberies. But at the same time, how you gonna prove it's me? Who cares about a physical feature? Can you prove that this is me? Is my handprints? Can you for sure show that this is me? I guess Ed listened to his attorney and he wisened up. Because we're watching the news one day and Ed's on the news. And now when I say Ed's on the news, he's on the news live, like invited the news station to come down to the jail. He's in a room, he's talking to the lady or, at the news station. And he was like, I'm accused of 12 robberies around the city. And, I just want to tell everybody, man, I'm not even going to lie. I did it. It was me. I did it. So the lady from the news station was like, so why would you, what is your goal? What do you hope to accomplish by doing this, by, coming clean, if you will, on local news? He's like, well, I just want the kids to know that you don't have to go this route. I know that I'm looking at a long time in prison and I got to be accountable for my actions. Kids, stay in school. Kids, don't turn to the streets. Leave them guns alone. He's saying all of these things on television. I guess Ed felt as though I know that I'm going to get a lengthy amount of time, but perhaps I can preserve some of my life. As I mentioned, Ed was in his 30s at the time. I want to say mid-30s. And so the case goes on, and it takes probably about a year and a half. And Ed ends up pleading guilty. He pleads guilty, 25 years. 25 years to serve, but the catch is he has to do 85% of that 25 years. Or 20 years, whichever one comes first. 20 years will come first. The longest time you can do in the state of Kentucky, unless you got life without the possibility of parole, the longest time you can do is 20 years. So even if you got 80 years, you have to see the parole board in 20 years. If you got 200 years, you still have to see the parole board in 20 years. It's the longest time you can do. So when Ed finally goes up for parole, he's going to have to do 20 years, which will pretty much serve out the 25-year sentence that he does. So at worst case scenario, Ed's probably going to do 20 and a half, 21 years. Mid-50s when he gets out. Stays in pretty good shape, as I mentioned. But it's just a shame that someone that never really had a criminal record like that, as far as felonies, ended up turning to this. Now, this other individual, he got way more time because, the murder was, I believe he took a plea deal just as well. So I think he took like a 40-year plea deal because he had more robberies. And as I mentioned, he had a criminal record as well. And so he wasn't going to get a 25-year sentence. He had sentence enhancements, and then someone ended up getting shot during the commission of a robbery. So I believe he ended up getting like 40 years, 45 years at 85%. I kind of feel bad because I ran into Ed, when I was last locked up. And he was so optimistic that he was going home. He was saying that there was something going on to where the governor was allowing people to get out early. And it was something where they were doing early releases, but the problem was, dude, your case is violent. Ultimate violence. You see what I'm saying? But Ed was convinced that he was going to be on that list. Nah, but I ain't hurt nobody. Now, I'm not going to argue with him. I'm not going to rain on his parade, but I'm thinking to myself, dude, you're only a few years in, 4 or 5 years into a 25-year sentence. Plus, it's a robbery. It's a violent robbery. There is no possible way that you're going anywhere. But again, I'm not going to say that to anybody. Who am I to kill somebody's dreams out? And sure enough, he wasn't on the list. Hell, I didn't even make the list. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. I know I've already said that before, but Rick James said that for a reason. When you're chasing that high, you will do anything. From what I've been able to tell from people that I know, personally know that get high, you will do anything to get that high. I've seen dudes beat their girlfriend, not seen it, but heard of dudes, beating their girlfriends up, not necessarily beating them up, but wrestling with them to get the purse so they can get the keys to the car and the debit cards, and stealing from their families, and, obviously stealing the tip jars out of stores, or just anything that they could do to support their high. I would encourage anybody that's going through something like that, find you the nearest rehab facility, 12-step program, whatever you need to do that before it's too late. Because, see, Ed's in the penitentiary now. He ended up getting his GED, which I was happy for him. He's in all type of 12-step classes, programs, and he's taking every, he's learning how, he has 3 or 4 different trades that he's completed. But the thing is, and while all that's good, you could have been doing all of that on the streets. Don't wait till you go to the penitentiary to start doing well in life, to start doing the right things. Yeah, you send your certificate home, your mother's proud of you, and they post it on Facebook, and my baby, he's in there, I'm really proud of him, he's doing well. Cool, because you need that positive encouragement when you are incarcerated. But again, you can do all of those same things out here on the streets. Ed's lucky. I don't know, Ken's 25 years to 85%. I don't know how lucky. Ed's still going to get out, like I said, in his mid-50s. Stays in shape. So he has another opportunity. He has another shot at life. Now, how many people walking around in the penitentiary right now, walking that loop, that are never getting out? And if they do get out, I spoke with a gentleman one time, and, I was walking the loop, he was walking the loop, and we just got to talking. He was about 72 at the time. Probably not even alive at this point. And if he is, he's, obviously in his 80s, well into his 80s. And he was telling me, he said, these youngsters here, because it was a group of youngsters over, and they was all rapping, and they was all, and he was like, these youngsters, man, I used to try to talk to him. He was a white guy, man, had heck, I didn't even think he was 72. He just, took care of himself. And he said, man, these youngsters, man, they don't listen. He said, I was just like them. He said, I've been in here since I was 37. I'm 72 now. And he said, hell, before that, I had been in here for a stretch. And I got out for like a year and came right back. I'll never go home ever in life again. I got a life sentence. I don't have a possibility of parole. I don't have any appeals left, anything. I will never go home. And these young guys think it's a joke. They think it's a game in here. And it's really not, man. Put them guns down, man. Picking books up. Learn to use these. Learn to use your hands other than squeezing at trigger, at Draco. Get you a skill. Get you a trade. College is not for everybody. I get it. But you got to learn how to, you have to be able to take care of yourself out here in society. And robbing people, selling dope, it's only going to take you so far. Ultimately, you end up in that grave or with a life sentence in the penitentiary. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to hit that post notification anytime I bring you this action and this heat. Guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now I'm going to ask that you all, once again, hit that like button. Definitely comment. Definitely share. Because in order for my channel to really, really get out there, it's up to you all. It's up to the people. So we have to be able to engage in conversation. That's why I respond back to everybody, their comments. YouTube wants to see that engagement. The comments and the likes and the shares. Only takes a couple seconds to do so. Real Kens TV.